what it takes to keep up spectral appearances? Jaded. That's what you are. Too many Nights Before Christmas, or American Werewolf in London, or all the predictable dead movies. Night of the Living Dead, The Walking Dead, Day, Dawn, Survival, you guessed it, of the dead. There's Evil Dead 1 and 2, and enough already. You think you know what all this goop costs? Huh? Fright wig, $22.99 on Amazon.com. Why is it called an Enigma fright wig? Enigma, a person or thing that is mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand. Huh, I'm certainly mysterious. This whole spectral trip is puzzling, and I don't understand why it all has to be so difficult. I was born Esmeralda. Maybe this is a sign. I need to change my name to Enigma. Maybe something good will come of this yet. White foundation. Okay, if you aspire to be the best, then just go with Shiranuri. Come on, we're in Hawaii. You don't know Shiranuri? Japanese culture, kabuki even. Painted in white? The one and only opaque white base for geishas and actors? Okay, I'll fess up. Working girl, you know. I had to settle for the $20.56 clown white on Amazon. A whole pound of it. Black lipstick, Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Matte Lipstick in Oh So Noir. It's supposed to channel your inner goth. No kidding, that's what the ad said. Made by Wet n Wild, Walmart, $4.68. Black eyeliner. Don't do Bobbi Brown or Sephora, much too pricey. NYX, $5, and a little goes a long way. Red color pot, Wet n Wild again, cheap, cheap, cheap. Fangs. Nope, I forgot them tonight. Dang. Drapey spectral gown. Diaphanous, you can see, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds online. You can be a penny pincher and get away with spending just a couple of bucks, or you can blow it all and make it the pièce de résistance of your charismatic presentation for $69.99. High fashion meets sultry sartorious decrepitude. Thank you very much. Hey, Elvis wore white. All right. How do I look? Oh, nearly forgot. The lilting, wafting enticement of Dead Rider's perfume. This blend evokes the feeling of sitting in an old library chair, paging through the yellowed copies of Hemingway, Shakespeare, Fitzgerald, Poe, and more. Suitable for either sex. Dead Rider's perfume makes you want to put on a kettle of black tea and curl up with your favorite book. You guessed it. I'm an English major at UH, marketing minor. Nothing escapes me. No enticing descriptions on run-of-the-mill cosmetics or savvy PR on questionable fragrances. This perfume contains notes of black tea, vetiver, clove, musk, heliotrope, vanilla, and tobacco. Tobacco! Now, that's my kind of spook. You don't want to be that fool tonight in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night 2014 first Iranian vampire western. Don't ask me. Part-time job. One defining night each year. Occasional gigs where I get to scare kids shitless. Oh. Mixed company. It's a living, eh? Or a haunting. That's more like it. Yeah.
Do you remember hearing stories about the boogeyman as a kid? We'd play outside all day, but our parents always said, "Come inside when the sun sets or the boogeyman will get you." I didn't know who the boogeyman was, but I knew I wasn't gonna let him catch me. I learned though that the boogeyman doesn't only come out at night. My elementary school was right next to a stream. On one side of the stream, there was a whole forest of scrubby koahaole trees going all the way up to the park. On the other side of the stream, there was the housing for the UH college dorms. A small wooden bridge crossed the stream, connecting the dorms with the kickball field at my school. After school, my friend and I used to play under that bridge. We try to catch the little rainbow guppies or prawns. We try to make them pinch each other. There were tons of prawns. We just shift the rocks a little and pick them up with our hands. One day, my friend and I decided to go exploring upstream. We were half swimming, half walking on our hands through the water. You know, right? As we were making our way upstream, we saw a big square tunnel on one side. It was big. We could walk right into it. There was a small trickle of water leading from that into the stream. The bottom of the tunnel was green and slippery, so we decided to see how far we could get inside. It was long, and it got kind of dark, but we could still see because there was a small light way at the end. When we got there, we saw that the light was shining down from a storm grate, and through it, we could hear the voices of kids playing at the park. We were right underneath the playground. We could have scared our friends so bad. You know, making ghost noises. Ooh. Oh, that would have been so funny. I don't know why we didn't think of it, but we didn't. Instead, we just turned around, went back to the stream, and continued our adventure. There was trees all around. But then we saw a small trail leading from the stream going up through the forest. So we had the bright idea to follow it. Two little kids, no shirts, no shoes, no fear. Well, a little fear. We didn't know what we'd find. My friend thought maybe we'd run into some wild pigs. I was thinking more along the lines of Hansel and Gretel in the forest with the wicked witch. Turns out I was right. Sort of. It was quiet. Nobody around. Then we came around a bend in the trail, and we saw a little old shack. It was made of scrap wood with a tin roof. Then we saw an old man walking on the trail ahead of us. He didn't see us. We froze. I wanted to run away, but my friend grabbed my arm. Don't run. He might catch us. I got even more scared. What if that was the boogeyman? What would he do? Then my friend called out to the boogeyman. Hi? What are you thinking, right? Who starts a conversation with the boogeyman? I ran back down the trail. I didn't even look back. I heard footsteps behind me, and I ran even faster. I finally reached the stream and splashed across to the other side as fast as I could. When I looked behind me, it was my friend, huffing and puffing and wild-eyed. Why'd you run? Why'd you start a conversation with the boogeyman? My friend just shrugged. I don't know. To be polite? By then, we were splash floating our way down the stream as fast as we could. We grabbed our shirts and headed home. We never did tell our parents what we did. We probably would have been grounded for a year. And we never did go back up into that forest. Years later, as an adult, I drove past the stream and decided to stop at my old childhood park, thinking about that storm grate and how I might have even scared my friends if it had been Halloween. I walked to the edge of the park that used to overlook the forest. It had all been cleared away by then. A parking structure, a building, and a classroom area had been put up in its place. An old taro patch had been restored so that the college students could learn to work there as their ancestors had. It was a good thing. But I wonder, what ever became of the boogeyman?
I looked outside, and there were monsters everywhere, shrieking and running from house to house like moths drawn to the light. Horrified, I shut the curtain and quickly turned off all the lights in my little studio. I live in what used to be my grandparents' garage. It's tiny and tidy, and normally I love it. But on a night like tonight, I felt exposed and alone. I couldn't run upstairs to my neighbor for protection because there was no upstairs neighbor. Those footsteps overhead, those had to be the monsters. They climbed up into my little sunbathing deck. Ah, I left the lava lamp on in my sleeping loft. They must have seen it. The back steps that I never use anymore because they're too rotten to hold my weight, that's gotta be how they got up there. I could hear one of them tapping on the glass up there. Do you think it sees me? I froze in the darkness. Had I locked the door? The tapping stopped. I held my breath. Rattling. They're rattling the door handle trying to get in. I ducked under the couch and reached for nothing. There was nothing I could. Oh, the blanket. I slowly grabbed the blanket and wrapped it over myself like a shroud. I stayed still. They never knew I was here. The jiggling stopped. I could hear The boards creak as they move from the door to the window, then back down the steps. Nothing. Then beside me, someone pounded on the door. Hello? Hello? Is anybody home? It sounded like a kid. But I knew that was the oldest trick in the book. It'll lull you into a false sense of security. You open the door just a crack to see who it is. And then bam! They see you, they're swarming you, there's no escape. I've seen the movies. I know how this works. So I waited. And I waited. I could still hear the shrieking and moans and maniacal cackling. But it didn't seem as close now. They had probably had wreaked havoc and then moved on in search of new victims. I cautiously pulled the blanket off the top of my head and listened. Nothing. I stood up in the darkness of my living room. Still nothing. I crept towards the door and carefully, oh so carefully, pulled the curtain aside. And it was an eyeball staring at me. Aaron, what are you doing? It was my friend Aaron coming over to play Minecraft with me. Finally, I said, as I opened the door. Did you bring the candy? Of course, she said, as she whisked past me, dumping candy into my arms and going towards the TV. You missed all the trick-or-treaters, I said. Good, she winked. More for us.
I was 5 when we moved in there. My mom said it was nothing fancy, but it was ours. She let me pick what color to paint my room. I chose purple. I love purple. We knew right away the house was haunted. My mom said it was just probably old wiring or rats in the attic, but my brother and I, we knew. We liked to sit together and watch TV for an hour after dinner, and the lights in the hallway would flicker off and on for no reason. They did that a lot. Sometimes we would hear noises in the attic and joke and say, "Jimmy, stop that!" I don't know why we called him Jimmy. My mom asked my uncle to look in the attic for her, and he said there was nothing up there. She hired an electrician to look at the wires, and he said everything looked good. My cat would sit in the hallway and just stare at the lights and chatter like how she chatters at birds. We couldn't see what she was chattering at, but we knew. It was Jimmy. He lives in our hallway ceiling. My room is at the end of the hallway, and one time, my door closed by itself. No, it wasn't the wind. There was no wind. I was just sitting on my bed, playing a video game, you know. And the door closed. I ignored it. because I was winning. Later, when I got up to get a snack, the door wouldn't open. It was stuck. I got scared. "Mom?" I yelled. "Mom?" I pounded on the door. "Mom!" Finally, I could hear her footsteps coming down the hallway. She jiggled the door and it opened. "What's the matter?" she asked. All I could do was hug her and cry. Jimmy didn't mess with my mom. After that, I was a little scared of Jimmy. I would close my door at night when I went to bed because I didn't like the feeling like he was watching me. My mom would say not to close my door because she wanted to be able to hear me from her room. I told her I was scared of Jimmy. She said I need to be firm with him. She said if I told him to leave me alone, he would. So I did. I said, "Jimmy, we won't bother you if you stay up there, but you need to leave me alone." And it worked. I think. He hardly ever flickers the lights anymore, and sometimes we hear noises in the ceiling, just creaking around, but none of us have seen him. Even my cat stopped chattering at him. Maybe we just got used to him, or he got used to us. But when I'm home alone, I still close my door.
Hello. Thank you for meeting with me today. Yes, I am interested in your position as a ghost coffee shop customer pass. Well, I currently work in hell. In my previous life, I was a barista and a vid yogi. I've enjoyed my time in hell, and I feel like there's a place for eternal damnation. But I'm a big believer in holistic preventative care. I think by showing clientele how inconsiderate their behavior is in life, they may be able to save themselves from death. My dream is to haunt people out of being, pardon my French, assholes. Based on my previous experiences as a barista, I am confident in my ability to identify and degrade the sanity of obnoxious Java drinkers through recurring nightmares. Perhaps even night terrors if the situation calls for it. My greatest strength. I'd say that I'm a creative problem solver. For instance, I would give customers who tap on the glass at the barista station recurring nightmares of being a goldfish stuck in a tank, remembering and forgetting their claustrophobia every 3 seconds. Thank you. I have a lot of ideas like that. I actually have them written down if you'd like to see. Great. Oh, and feel free to use these, whether I get this position or not. I'm really just passionate about the cause. Okay. Customers who hand the cashier crumpled money will dream that all their documents are likewise crumpled. Yeah, you like that one? Okay, how about this? Customers who ask their order to be rushed dream that they have to run everywhere since, apparently, they don't have a second to spare. Right? Okay, this one might be right up your alley then. Customers who talk on the phone while ordering will dream of having to hold their pee while unsuccessfully trying to end that phone call. Let me know if this is too crazy. Customers who claim they were given something they didn't order will dream that they have that order tattooed on their forehead. Totally. Okay, I've got a wild one for you. Customers who ask what the ingredients are too many times will dream of actually having a food sensitivity. I'm so glad you agree. And finally, this one's my favorite. Customers who flirt with women on their shift will dream that they go on a date with her in which she spends the entire shopping trip at Bath and Body Works for 3 hours. Oh, if they yell at a barista, they should just go to hell. Exactly. I wasn't expecting this question. It kind of puts me on the spot. I'd say that my biggest weakness is that I care too much about terrifying humanity. I'm a bit of a workaholic like that. Oh, I expect to be compensated with human fear. Salary? It's a necessary evil. A difficult work situation I had in my previous life was that I accidentally handed a pumpkin spice latte to the closest white lady on reflex. But I responded to the situation with self-deprecating humor. We laughed about it, and she even ended up having me come to her yoga classes. I handle stressful situations by listening to my breath. The white lady who didn't actually want a pumpkin spice latte taught me that meditation. My ultimate goal in life is to scare the last hell-bound jerk into purgatory. Thank you for your time. I truly believe I would be an asset to the Night Terror team, and I hope to hear from you soon. Man, I hate Zoom calls. They call this place hell. Shouldn't have yelled at that barista.